All right. My name is Josh Turum. I'm the managing partner and owner of our small firm here in Milwaukee. I specialize in workers' compensation and personal injury matters. And today, I'm going to spend some time talking about surveillance. Surveillance has really not only picked up but become a pretty prevalent practice for the defense, or I should say, the workers' compensation carrier insurance carriers, um, in an attempt to show that a worker or an injured person is not as injured as they may say. And taking it back 15 years ago, it was something that we saw a little bit of, and it was certainly something that popped up on cases from time to time. But overall, most of the time, it really wasn't a huge part of our practice because, the technology more or less wasn't there. And insurance carriers didn't want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars trying to quote catch people and probably spending a lot of time and money on getting video coverage or whatever it is that they were doing that wasn't worth a whole lot to them. Now, and especially in the last couple of years, I would say it's a completely different practice or game, so to speak. As we all know, everybody's got a camera and a video camera just right in their pocket. And it's incredibly accessible for anybody. And so, somebody can have it on and off very quickly. Somebody can be very, call it sneaky because there's really no ability to see who's necessarily recording you with something as small as some of these phones are, or any other old gadgets and things that people have. So we've really started to see just a ton of it. Even on smaller cases, I mean, it's just really becoming a huge part of the defense strategy. So, a couple things to keep in mind about this. So, number one, I think most of the time people think of surveillance only in the sense that their doctor gave them some sort of restriction or permanent restriction, and it's very important that they stay within those restrictions because there could be somebody out there trying to show that they can do more or catch them doing something more than what the restrictions say. I think that sort of surveillance is something that has been pretty well known or pretty well established for quite some time. I think what's been used even more though now is it's not just at the end of these cases, but rather we're seeing pretty standard practice on the front end. So, for example, in an injured person being scheduled for an independent medical evaluation with an insurance company doctor, you're starting to see the surveillance of the person in the parking lot up to the appointment. Same thing goes for just treating doctors' appointments, physical therapy. I most recently had an instance where the treating physician had referred my client to participate in kind of a gym activity, just a standard exercise area, that kind of thing, like your common YMCA or something like that. And sure enough, that referral came through. The insurance company was obviously aware of that, and a couple weeks later, we get a video on our desk of our person at the gym, doing a little bit more than maybe the doctor had set out for her to do. So it's really something that we are not trying to create paranoia or make people go crazy, but it's very important that people are aware of it. And obviously, most of the time, especially when someone is as injured as they're claiming to be, this really isn't an issue. But I can tell you that what you may think is not necessarily some big movement or motion or whatever it may be, could be a little bit more than you think, depending on how it's seen by a judge or jury. So, what we really like to do is just kind of make you aware of that, and so hey, when you make a claim, when you file a claim, and especially if you file an appeal or a lawsuit, all eyes are, unfortunately, again, not trying to make everybody paranoid or any more paranoid than we already all are, but all eyes are more or less on you, especially depending on how severe the injury is or how severe you're claiming it is. So just to touch lastly on one more point when it comes to surveillance, and I started to go down this road and then talked about some of the more frequent things some of the newer things we're seeing. But what I can 100% tell you is if you have permanent restrictions assigned by your doctor. So if you got hurt, followed the treatment, let's say you needed to have some sort of surgical procedure or something where it helped, it made your pain and symptoms better, but it didn't, 100% fix the issue. And so you require some sort of permanent restriction. You can almost guarantee yourself, especially if there's a pending lawsuit, that there's going to be some sort of surveillance. So, people ask me all the time when they get their permanent restrictions, well, can I mow my lawn? Can I go to the grocery store? Can I pick up my kids? Can I do these kind of things? And believe it or not, what I tell people is look right at the restriction. Does the restriction say you can't mow your lawn? Does the restriction say that you can't go to the grocery store? As far as the lifting of a child, if you have a lifting restriction of 20 pounds and your kid's 25 pounds, yeah, I mean, that's an issue. You gotta be aware of that. Or potentially talk to your doctor about that. Maybe revising the restriction to allow you to do something that you're going to do, regardless of how much pain it really causes you. So follow those restrictions to a T, have them adjusted if necessary, depending on what your lifestyle choices are. Again, the normal daily activities that you have to do to survive, go to the grocery store and cut your grass and that kind of stuff, showering, whatever it is, getting dressed, doing whatever it is that you need to do. Most of those things judges understand, juries understand. But anything outside of those things, it's very, very important that you follow the restriction because you better believe that somebody's trying to find you doing something outside of it. So again, not trying to make everybody more paranoid than we already are, but I would say be very wary of it. It's happening. Most of the time, you're not even going to know that it's happening because the devices are as small as they are, and you can't really see the guy like you could maybe 15, 20 years ago with the big camera. So, stay within those restrictions. You go outside of the home, stay within the restrictions. So again, surveillance is prevalent. If you have any questions about it, by all means, feel free to reach out. But be aware of it. And again, any questions, just reach back out to us. Thank you so much for listening. Appreciate it.